To me, Wang Keiying was Wang Feihong. It's the same person. He's just playing a fatherly figure. So I look at that as, and what is, Wang Feihong? Wang Feihong is a symbol of a very typical fatherly, elderly Chinese figure, right? With Confucius beliefs, with a little bit of Taoism, Buddhism, very traditional Chinese man, righteousness and all that, And the vortex for the character Wang Feihong is just, he's the master of martial arts. Wang Keiying the same way, I mean, I basically just kind of walked in with the playing that righteous character, and of course the martial arts just kind of come naturally. So everybody knows all the Chinese knows that he's the 10 Tiger from Canton, and he was the father of Wang Feihong, and Wang Feihong was a very famous character played by, of course, Jet Li, Once Upon a Time in China, the series, and as well as a household character, which most of Hong Kong's resident recognizes, the Guan Da Heng, all the over hundreds of black and white movies. So it was already a household name. I think produced by Tsui Hark, of course, Iron Monkey. He wanted to explore the family trees of Wang Feihong, and brought that character in, and Tsui Hark wanted to add a refreshing elements for that character, because that character was such an important character that if you're just going to cast a typical male boy, then you are running into either a very good martial arts young kid, but without the purity or the freshness of how a young boy should look. So therefore, he wanted a female martial artist kid to play the young Wang Feihong. And as the result, you see this feminine side, the soft side of a young Wang Feihong. At the same time, it possesses the martial arts skill level which Wang Feihong is supposed to possess. Well, I don't want to take anything away from the Wang Feihong series that Jet and Tsui Hark, they really broke a lot of grounds at the time. But I just wanted to do something different, and I fall back onto always been my beliefs was to stick with the fundamental of martial arts, which is just the real martial arts trees, the philosophies and the history. Playing the character with a Hong Kun's background, of course, I'm going to try to manipulate that into a visual attempt, and which I did, and I presented that idea to Yu Mongping. I said, why don't we stick with Hong Ga style with these characters, because in histories, and perhaps it may work. And I remember in the beginning he was kind of reluctant, not to go back to the Hong Ga style, because for many years all the Shaw brothers had played out the Hong Ga. And I told him straight out, I said, perhaps it may not come off that way if I execute these movements with my approach. I'm going to try to come up with a contemporary flavor, and my own rhythm. It would be a Donnie Yen style executing Hong Ga style, rather than some of the actors in the 70s was executing Hong Ga style. So fortunately it came out and it was quite effective visually, and it worked. Well, during that several years, because of the success coming out of Once Upon a Time and also another movie, Dragon Gate, it was the period martial art films. It was the trend during that time. And period martial art films required a lot of over-the-top physicalities like wiring and flying off the roof, and that kind of gave us a certain freedom to expand the capability of human physical movement, unlike the late 70s and the early 80s, with all those martial art films would stay grounded. It wasn't as floating as possible way. So that actually gave us a lot of space to play with. I just wanted to do something slightly different from what Choi Hak did with Yu Mo Ping in Once Upon a Time series, with what the character Jet Li played, Mo Fei Hong, with the shadow legs, with the wire, and with different cuts. I kind of wanted to play something that, again, stick to the basic of martial arts, but obviously with a film language approach, and that particular shot was, of course, framed down and speeded up, and we shot that in 16 frames per second. I think a couple takes took down to 14 frames per second, just to gives it that over-the-top cinematic effect, but at the same time it stuck to the true martial arts approach. You saw the shots. The shot was one take, and seeing the character actually kicking multiple kicks, into a shadowless approach, right, with multiple kicks, and that was the approach, and it worked. I don't think that was that much. I really don't think that was a difficult moves. It's just perhaps I executed that move nicely, and you shot it properly, and it came out quite stunning. But I think a lot of martial arts could do it, and it wasn't that difficult. Perhaps some of the other actor couldn't do it, but it wasn't that difficult. I did in Tiger Cage 1 or 2. Or was it in Line of Duty? Tiger Cage 2, I did it. It's just 3 kicks is nothing. I think I should be able to do 5 kicks on a good day. Filmmaking is a trend. Or let me rephrase that. I think film genre is the trend, right? I think it just so happened recently, because of the Hollywood's, some of the successful Hong Kong films were introduced to Hollywood with highlighting wireworks. So therefore, it turned into, okay, Hong Kong films is all wireworks. They call it wire fu. Truthfully, Hong Kong actions have a diversity of styles of action interpretation. It's funny how Yu Mo Ping was always known for his solid martial arts.